Alrighty. Thanks to Poote, my favorite kill 'em all guy, right there. I have plenty of time to continue our wonderful Trimet board meeting where they lie to you with a straight face and nobody cares but me. And so it goes. In the words of the famous Neil Berlin. Two bells.
This would go into effect January 2024, and it's all based on your direction of a 30-cent increase to the adult 2.5.
All based on your direction. I played in the last episode that this is not at the direction of the board. And unfortunately, mainstream media is not going to tell you that. And nobody else will either, and nobody else even cares but me and 6 people.
Hour ticket. Next slide, please. So the proposal is this, that we have brought to the community increases to the 2.5-hour ticket and adult day pass, increases to the honored citizen and youth, 2.5-hour ticket and day passes, and then the Lyft single ride ticket. I would just note for all of you that we have not proposed to increase the monthly or the annual passes. But you'll see for the adult, the 30-cent and 60-cent increase, and for honored citizen and youth, the 15 and 30-cent increase. Next slide, please. Our outreach approach is consulting the community, and we're really focused on our riders and vulnerable populations. You'll see a list of key message points that we are putting out there, but I would note the key one that we are really communicating to the public is the cost of us delivering the service is going up, and we have not raised fares for 10 years. And so,
yeah, you've not raised fares for 10 years, but when you did do that 10 years ago, you raised them to the highest possible level. And your fares are still more expensive than a lot of other places. So that's a false equivalency. Just pointing it out. And furthermore, let me show you the reason they're doing the fare increase. Okay, it's not. Okay. It's not what he says it is. I've already covered this 100 times. Here it is, folks.
Impacts of Trimet's revenue sources is in our ability to issue bonds. And as you know, Trimet currently maintains a AAA bond rating. Those bond rating agencies look very closely at our fare box revenue. I have had 2 meetings in the last month with our rating agencies, and one of the elements that they are looking at very closely now, so you can say that we're on watch for this one element, is the level of our fare box recovery.
Okay, you heard it right there. Trimet is on watch because they don't get enough extraction of wealth from the serf population. And it's more important for them to have a AAA bond rating than it is for the citizens to have a good fare for their ride. Okay, it's more important to the management that they get the banks to give them bonds than for you to have a ride that is cost effective for you. They're going to raise your fare for the bond ratings, and that's really obscene. Nobody knows it, nobody will report it, and only the few people that watch this will know it, and it's unfortunate.
Really, that Trimet has been shouldering that cost and wanting to increase our fares to help cover the cost of delivering the service. Next slide, please. As you can imagine, we are using all of our communication channels, all of the tools in our toolbox, so to speak.
All of the tools in our toolbox. Don't you hate that? I hate that. I hate that fucking saying. There's no tools. It's just propaganda. It's propaganda. It's not tools. Oh, sickening.
To help communicate the fare increase or the potential for the fare increase in proposal and to gather people's feedback. I would also just note that I have instructed staff to over-communicate this for 2 reasons, really. The first, to educate people on the rising cost of delivering the service, much like we're all.
Meanwhile, they expand their bureaucracy. I've been posting on Twitter how many new management positions they've been posting over there. Brand new, out of the blue. They just keep adding these bureaucrats So he's lying to us. Okay, just so you know, this is a complete lie. J.C. Vanetta is a liar. And he always was a liar because all the way back when Lane Jensen was being set up for prosecution via perjury, they perjured themselves to get rid of him. He was part of that, okay? So he's a scumbag.
Encountering that and on our daily activities, gas, food, and the other opportunities to really educate people on what we do currently for so many in our vulnerable populations with our low-income fare program and our transit access program. So really trying to get...
You don't do anything, okay? You charge even somebody that has no money. There's no free pass at Trimet. None. Oh, hello, Trimet. I have no income. Well, you qualify for the fare reduction, but sorry, we don't give anybody an actual pass that doesn't pay something. We extract from you no matter what.
Get the word out that if those folks are impacted by this fare increase, that there is help out there.
Yeah,
Next slide,
you
please.
don't give a shit about them. You're a liar.
Our outreach timeline, we have begun an online survey that is multilingual. I'll talk about...
So here's their bureaucracy. You know, they all get paid to do this huge bureaucratic process that means nothing. But it employs a whole bunch of bureaucrats all making six-figure income to do this. Such an absurdity. It's just so hard to watch.
Open houses and discussion groups, but that's now through February. We will be bringing all of the feedback that we have heard from the community to your March board meeting with the Title VI report that John Gardner will deliver. We will then put everything together in a proposal for the first reading at your April meeting. We will also hold a public hearing, which we do as part of our ordinance procedures, for your decision at your May board meeting. I would also just note that out there, while we're out in the community, there's a lot going on, and we're also talking about proposed service changes with our Forward Together program. So just know that there's a lot that we're communicating with the public. Next slide, please. So the survey is out there. We have had a tremendous response to the survey. I believe we're at 2,200 responses to date. That we have all of our information at trimet.org, FAIR proposal. We launched that December 8th, and we're closing all of the comments at February 25th, so we can put together a report for you. It's in multiple languages. I'm very proud. We learned a lot with our reimagining safety efforts and the outreach, and we have really replicated a lot of that and looked at ways that we can improve. We are looking for feedback in 13 languages, as well as, and English is one of those, as well as, and including our safe harbor languages. I would just...
What the hell is a safe harbor language? What the hell is that?
Note that the language is online. You'll see the other two are actually in person that we'll do with our community outreach. Next slide, please. In-person events, and we'll talk about this. On the next slide, I'll map it out, but we are planning an open house, one per board district. We are also doing events with our multicultural outreach partners, and we're hoping they will also provide the interpretation to get feedback from those groups of folks. Next slide, please. Here are the events for the in-person events, and my apologies to the board in advance because of the quick timing and because in conjunction with trying to get the venues lined up, we weren't able to match up your schedules with this schedule, so I hope that you're able to join one of these. If you do join, please let me know. We would love for you to say some words.
Let me just look at this. I want to look at the calendar. Okay, January 17th. That's a Tuesday. So Tuesday during rush hour. January 18th, Wednesday during rush hour. January 19th, Thursday. 12 to 4, okay. During the weekday, though. January 24th, that's a Tuesday during the rush hour. January 25th, during the rush hour is a Wednesday. January 26th is a Thursday during the rush hour. And February 1st is a Wednesday during the rush hour. So this is bogus. It's a fake. It's a lie. It's propaganda. It's false propaganda. Not one hearing on the weekend. Because these guys, these executive scumbags, don't work on the weekend. They party, man. This guy's making 250 grand a year, and look at him. What a doofus.
At the beginning of each, you'll see that we are doing all of these in English and in coordination with your districts. We are also offering an alternative language that is predominant in the district that you represent. Next slide, please. We are also holding 4 online events in English and Spanish. You'll see up above.
No, those are on the weekend.
If you want to join, please let us know as well. But these are also a great opportunity for people who are not able to join in person and or want to join via Zoom or some other electronic method. Next slide, please. Our discussion groups are really using our multicultural outreach partners to really host and potentially provide incentives for folks to come out and give their feedback on the impact that a fare increase could have on them. Each facility will be language specific, and we will also be really looking to our reduced fare program partners. We obviously know that those folks will be impacted the most, so how can we get some feedback from them? Also use it as an opportunity to educate on what is available. Next slide. Again, I return as I close out to our outreach timeline, a lot underway. And again, all of the open houses, discussion groups, the online open houses over the next 2 months, January and February. We didn't do them in December, obviously, because of a lot with holidays. So really picking it up at the first of the year through the February 25th. Again, bringing all of this before you at your March board meeting. Again, first reading in April, second reading in May, for all of this to happen for a January 1st, 2024 implementation.
Oh, wait a minute. So that will be, so January 23 is, so then 1 year they want to implement this fare increase. So they're robbing you blind, folks. That's what they're doing.
Do you approve it in May? I'll take any questions if you have it.
And the board, let me remind you, the board is completely illegitimate. It represents the management only. It's appointed by a political crony. And this is a crime syndicate. And I mean that quite literally. It's a crime syndicate. People make fortunes off of this, and it's not the drivers, believe me. All the entire executive staff has it made. They're living in luxury comparatively. They don't have to risk their lives or anything. They have the greatest life, that whole 2 or 3, I think it's 300 executives they got there. And all of this is funded by you, the taxpayer, and the people paying the fares. They just got themselves a brand new luxury office down there in Portland somewhere.
Funny.
So pathetic.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, JC. Thank you very much there. Next, board, I would like to take a moment to recognize a group of Trimet employees who are the heart and soul of our organization and our service. Everyone knows what it's like to be in an unfamiliar place and need help.
Oh my God. Bring in who the hell are they? They got green outfits on.
We have a small but mighty team of 7 that helps riders get where they need to go. They are our on-street customer service team. This group does so much for our riders, but they also play an important support role for our staff. So as we begin to show appreciation for their efforts here today, I'd like to recognize each person by name and personally.
He likes to do this. He likes to bring in the staff, you know, because it makes him look like he cares. I care about you. Yeah, sure you do.
Thank them for being our rider ambassador. I'd like to recognize 6 members that are here today: Jeb Korick, Don Hubbard, Stephanie Thornton, Lee Troutman, Pam Weldon, and Senior Coordinator Wendy Hudson, and Director Nate Smith.
So there's 6 of them, There's a director and a coordinator. Let's time it for you right there. A tiny little group of people with their own director, their own coordinator.
So I'm going to let both Wendy and Nate touch on the experiences and the impact that the team has made. So I'll turn it over to you.
Incredibly large impact on our customers, our community, and our agency. One of the initiatives I took on when I took my role was to start trying to capture and quantify the valuable work we're doing with our customer experience. And I'm ecstatic to say that this small team is currently reaching over 2,000 customers per week out in the field. And it's also proven to be a great pathway to other roles in the agency. We've had 3 members move into other roles where they brought that customer first experience to the role and really thrived right out of the gate in other roles at the agency. And I just can't say enough wonderful things. Their smiling faces and warm demeanor really set the tone for who we are and what we do as an agency. So I'm very proud of this group and happy to be here. So thank you.
What they normally do during their daily work is just help. They are out on the system, traveling around, answering questions, being a presence on the trains or the buses. They help out at PDX Airport for people coming into our city and just helping them use our transit system, giving them direction on how to get to their hotels or conventions. They help during service disruptions and large major projects like we're in right now with the Better Red. We're the team that gets out there and helps answer questions and gets riders where they need to go. Some other amazing things that they have done as a team, on platforms, they've reunited parents with their kids that have been separated, dogs with their owners. They've even saved a couple people's lives that they've seen people in need out on the streets and calling for help. Again, I can't say enough about each of them and all that they do. They really, truly care about our riders, that our customers, and the community, our riders that are vulnerable and those with special needs, too. Just, they take pride in their work.
I'd like to ask you, how many individuals do you have doing this within the system?
We only have 7 in our team. Right now we're down to 6, so we're hoping to get more, but for the small team that they are, they do amazing things.
And do you focus on a certain area within the system? Because we cover 533 miles, and there's
mainly
only
on the
6
rail
of you.
system, but they help with events too, like concerts, blazer games, timbers, that type of thing. And any special events, zoo lights, just all things around Portland and how they can best serve customers in the community.
Small but mighty.
Yep.
But it would definitely seem
Yep.
like in a system this large that we could have more. But thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Now drive a bus and see how you like that one.
Director Edwards, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you for all the good work that you do, but I would like to ask a question, and not of all of you, but if one of you would volunteer. What is your most gratifying experience since you've been in this role?
Good one. Okay. Come on.
Don't all of you speak at once, but
Oh, there's so many.
Well, give it one.
I think during the last shutdown for the Better Red, out of the blue line.
I'm sorry, could you come to the mic, please?
We had a customer that rides the blue line regularly, and he's sight impaired. And we intercepted him and was able to help him transfer to the shuttle because we had messed up his regular routine. So we connected with him, and one of our ride guides, Bernadette, helped him the first day, but he rides twice a week, and so we had 2 times that week to interact with him. And so I got him the second week, or the second day, and we got him to where he needed to go, and he was very appreciative of us helping, that extra shuttle help to get him to the train at Orenco. And so you can imagine when we do something like that and shut down, the vulnerable people are the ones that really need our help. So that was pretty cool.
Great, thank you very much.
Director Edwards, I would like to say something. I know that I've seen them all out on the system because I'm an avid rail rider, just as well as bus. but I was out with Don, all right, and we were out on the Better Ed line doing work, and actually there was a medical emergency that occurred, and Don jumped into action very quickly to help get paramedics there, to help the individual move out. And I just sat there and watched it with my eyes from my location. So these are great people that do great things for our system and really care about the folks that run our system. So all of them, really, hats off, well done for all of you, bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you see that? Look, did you see that?
Does anyone else want to make any comment?
Look, did you see that?
You can imagine when we do something like that and shut down.
Watch Sam's Mussolini impression here. It's classic.
The vulnerable people are the ones that really need our help. So that was pretty cool.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, watch. Wait, let me turn this off. I want to take a separate video of this because it's so good. Move this out of here.
Director Edwards, I would like to say something. I know that I've seen them all out on the system because I'm an avid rail rider, just as well as bus. But I was out with Don, all right, and we were out on the Better Ed line doing work, and actually there was a medical emergency that occurred, and Don jumped into action very quickly to help get paramedics there, to help the individual move out. And I just sat there and watched it with my eyes from my location. So these are great people that do great things for our system and really care about the folks that run our system. So all of them, really, hats off, well done for all of you, bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there it is. Did you see it?
Does anyone else want to make any comments or questions? Director Gonzalez, no?
Thank you. Yes, just thank you for taking your time and the opportunity to come make yourselves present here for us. It's great work that you do. I applaud your willingness to step forward into this. I can only imagine what a day must encompass for you. You must get all the feels in one day. But I really appreciate that you represent us and you bring a warm and inviting face to the system for people. At the end of the day, we are in the people business, and you humanize it for us. So thank you so much for stepping into this work. I only hope that your ranks get to multiply as we continue what you probably see as very valuable work that we cannot possibly do as much as is needed out there. I know there's so much more.
Director Bauman?
Yes, I want to add my thanks. We know from surveying our riders that folks feel more safe on the system if they see a uniformed presence, and so your vests and your insignias that you carry, I think, you not only help people on a one-on-one basis, but just kind of generally provide reassurance to folks who are riding transit that they're safe and that they'll be able to get where they're going. So very important, and thank you so much for your work.
Let me ask Kimberly. I don't see Director Kim, so I don't know if Dr. Kim wants to say anything.
The only comment I had, I shared in the chat. I said, thank you, team. Amazing work being the faces of Trimet. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Kim. There you are.
There you is.
We lost sight of you.
Okay,
thank you, guys.
We're the green team. All right.
Thank you for being here. Absolutely.
Go get him, green team.
And finally this morning, for some reason, this microphone seems like it's either not working or not. Okay, can you? Okay, yeah, maybe. Okay, perfect. That's good to know there. Finally this morning, this is our last board meeting of 2022. And I just want to take a moment to reflect on what I believe are the 10 most impactful events we at
All right.
TriMet have
Okay, he's going to do the top 10 accomplishments. And those of us that follow this know that TriMet is a complete dumpster fire for 2022. But let's hear what he has to say.
advanced this year. So the common denominator to all of this is the accomplishments is our great employees. And I'm grateful for skilled and determined employees that work for TriMet, those that show up every day to ensure that our mission is actually carried out. I want to thank our dedicated customers as well who ride our system and the passionate people who advocate for transit in this region here. And then all of the people in the room that you see here today who keep our employees and riders top of mind as we move forward to fulfill the community needs. We've accomplished a lot, so I want to go through this list very quickly. First, next slide, is the launch of our first TriMet FX Frequent Express. This is our bus line on Division. This was the talk of the town this past September. We celebrated local and national partnerships and record-breaking DBE milestones, and then a new type of faster bus service. Next slide. Number two, from one complete project to another, a better red. This project is progressing right on schedule.
Completely redundant, useless. Jason will defend it till he's blue in the face. Makes me drink when I talk to him about this stuff. It's a completely redundant pork barrel. It doesn't do anything for anybody except fill the pocket of the light rail mafia.
Crews have made it, this major progress that we've made here. We've constructed 2 new light rail bridges. We've moved special trackway. We've relocated our utilities and much more. Next slide. The region is moving forward with the Interstate Bridge replacement program with an approved locally preferred alternative. We've joined our regional partners and endorsing a modified LPA, identifying light rail expansion into Vancouver as the best transit option to serve our community. Next slide.
What?
We've made improvements
so
for our customer experience, which you see the group that was up here this morning. Every day they go out. But we've nearly added 215 real-time arrival digital displays across our bus and MAG system. Our website redesign made it easier for you to plan your trips and track your bus or train. We've also increased our presence on board. We've doubled the number of customer safety supervisors. That's the staff that enforce TriMet code, as well as doubling the number of our safety response team who help connect people with social services. We've also increased the number of transit security officers from 60 earlier this year to more than 100.
Yeah, and that's like fare checking. They're doing fare checks, so that's not an improvement. This is all garbage. You can see it's garbage, but we'll listen.
Today, next slide. For the first time since the start of COVID-19, we surpassed 1 million boardings. That's a positive sign as our region slowly recovers from the significant impacts of the pandemic. I was honored to testify before the House Committee on Transportation, really to share with them on how important the relief that we received in funding was here to help us to provide service for essential.
And you did not provide the service, so you're lying to us again, Sam. Can you ever stop lying? Will you please stop lying just once? Just once, tell the truth. I know you can't do it. You're like, your whole mindset is lie, 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 lie. Here's Sam at the U.S. committee. Look at him. He's in Washington having a great time.
Workers during the pandemic. Next slide. As we work to grow our ridership, we are also expanding access and assistance to the most vulnerable in our community.
Baloney.
Financially, our Access Transit Fare Assistance and Fare Relief programs exceeds $12 million this year. These programs provide free and low-cost fares to community-based organizations.
To community-based. It doesn't apply. They don't provide it to actual people. They give some they give some tickets or passes to some organizations, I guess, but you can't get it from Trimet.
Them to give to those in need. And we have exceeded 46,000 enrollees, 46,000 enrollees in our reduced fare program based on income, which is huge as the program started only 4 years ago. We're also helping to provide physical access to transit. We've celebrated the opening of our Menlo Park Safe Rest Village, and Trimet was the very first city partner to offer up property for what considered an alternative shelter to help those living on the streets as they transition to find permanent housing. Also, Trimet has facilitated the development of more than 900 transit-adjacent housing units since 2015, with majority designed as affordable housing.
Yeah, there
That
you go.
includes
Property
100
development,
units that open up this year at Fuller Station and 224 units currently in development at Hollywood Transit Center. Next slide. We've taken major steps to reduce our carbon footprint and overall
All of this stuff is nice, I guess, but it doesn't help your riders.
impacts on the environment. This was our first full year on our fixed route buses that ran on renewable diesel. They were joined by our lift vehicles and our West trains when they made the switch in May. We also put in our first bulk order of our 24 electric buses. Will begin to roll in next fall. Next slide. None of what I mentioned, I mean absolutely none of what I mentioned, could not have been achieved without the dedication of our phenomenal and great employees. And most of them, I just want all of our employees to stand up for a moment.
Yeah, you're very
Thank you all. Thank you very much. And also I want to thank all of our frontline employees, our bus operators, our maintenance mechanics. You know, we have agreed to a contract extension with the ATU, which increased our union wages. And also we're providing all of our operators with a $7,500 hiring or retention bonus. We've conducted audits to
It's a retention bonus. It's paid out over time.
ensure our non-union wages are in line with the market. And we're also taking steps to ensure our employees know how much we value them. We've reinstated all of our recognition programs. Next slide. We've also have a lot to celebrate when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, a milestone in 2022. From naming our first Chief of Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Accessibility Officer to including Martin Luther King Jr. and Juneteenth as paid agency holidays.
Okay, yeah, they did add a couple holidays. Okay, that's true. You got to give them. I think the first Chief of Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity. The division project was like, didn't really do anything. You know that, right? It added some new buses are a plus for the people riding, but that's about all it did. It didn't improve your commute time, really.
We also continue to honor our diverse community by working to feature artwork on our buses in celebration of Cultural and Heritage Months. Next slide. And then finally, we are undertaking the biggest
redesign of bus service in history. How many times do we hear this? The greatest in history. We hear this over and over. And this shouldn't be in here because they can't see. This is false propaganda is what this is. This is an actual psyop. And I'll explain to you why. Because the service right now is in collapse, basically. It's not reliable. But here they are pretending they're going to have this great service. So this is an actual psyop. So it makes unsuspecting public, which doesn't know anything about any of this, think, oh, look, it's going to be better than ever soon. And this is just dreaming, man. I mean, they're just dreaming. Right now, it's collapsed. So talking about the biggest expand the frequent bus service, it's all a psyop. You can't even provide what you have now. So I mean, I'm against all of this. I know it's a psyop.
redesign of our bus service and agency history. We're listening to our customers and our community to overhaul our bus services so it meets the needs of the region. And with that, I just want to thank you all. Thank you for the time.
All right.
I express my gratitude
Yes,
and my
yes.
appreciation for
I bet you do it $1,000 a day, including weekends, plus a nice big fat expense account.
each one of you on the board, for our customers that are here, and for the talented people who run our organization. I look forward to all of the good that we're going to do in 2023.
I hope so.
And President Simmons, with that, I conclude my report.
Oh, look, there's the Mussolini move. There it is, man. There's that. See him right there? He's that Mussolini move of his.
Thank you. That was a very complete report and very helpful. Thank you. Do any board members wish
Let's see if
to
there's any questions.
ask any questions before we proceed?
No question. Just kudos, Sam. This is
Oh, Ozzy.
a fantastic way to sneak a lot more than 10 things into a top 10 list. Congratulations. It's great to see it in the rearview mirror. It's what a year.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it has been. Yes.
All right, we're going to cut it there, but I want to play a couple of scanner clips today in conclusion because there's a couple of good ones, man. Okay. Let's see here. Just give me a second. Hold on. I'm going to find it. Takes me a little while. All right. Nope, that's not it. There were a lot of good calls, man. Okay, here it is. Here, listen to this one.
9478, Southwest Maine and Scotland, heading outbound. How can I help you? So I had to take a couple of minutes to kind of calm down, but when I was coming in on Barber, I changed lanes, and the vehicle that I changed lanes in front of took exception to that. He pulled up next to me, rolled down his window so I could see him. I waved at him like, I see you. So when I pulled up to the light at Barber TC, he drove by and pointed a gun at the bus as he drove by. But like I said, it took a few minutes for me to calm down before I could call you guys. Okay, so this happened at Barber TC, and you continued driving without calling us? I mean, I need you to pull over. Yeah, like I said, I needed a minute to process everything, and now I am calling you guys. I don't have a problem with you needing to process everything. I do have a problem with you driving, feeling that way. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't drive where you feel that way. So I need you to pull over, please. I am pulled over, and you don't know how I feel. I'm just processing what happened, okay? No, I understand that, and we are here to help you. But you shouldn't be driving while having to process something like that. I need you to stay there and wait for a supervisor, okay? Yeah, I am going to stay here and wait for a supervisor, but I do want to say, I don't think you're very good at this, alright? Like, I'm kind of frustrated now. I don't appreciate you telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing when I am your eyes and ears out here, and I'm trying to report something to you. So unless you're actually here to judge my mental state and my feelings, I would appreciate you if you just keep your comments to yourself, do your job, send a supervisor, and we'll work out this. 9478, I am your supervisor, and what I'm saying is you shouldn't drive a bus feeling that way. You shouldn't drive a bus having to process that. That should take it easier off of you. You should have parked it at Barber TC and called us, or parked it at Barber TC, take the time you needed need to process it and then call us. What I'm saying is you shouldn't have driven from Barber TC to where you're at. That's all I'm saying. To protect you. Again, I do not think you're very good at this. Okay? You are not helping the situation. Telling me that I did something wrong, this is not the time to do that. Okay, we're not communicating very well. Supervisor's on the way, and if there's anything else I could do, please ask. Yeah, since you are my supervisor, how do I know? I mean, I don't want to ask your name over the line or anything, but I would like your information. We timed out. My apologies. No, my name's Jason. I'm the only Jason in this.
Okay, now that operator, okay, he kept driving. He just like, oh, I just got a gun pulled on me, and I'm driving down the road, and somewhere like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later, he decides to call it in after he's So Jason did nothing wrong there. Okay, I'm going to stand up for him. The driver really has some nerve, chastising the dispatcher. But I guess you'll learn, you know. I mean, you just have to learn. You can't complain about the white shirts, and you'll find out. I think he's a newbie, and chastising dispatcher is not going to help. Okay, you want to do that, you do that to your manager, not to the goddamn dispatcher over the air. All right, and Jason didn't do anything wrong. I understand. He made perfect sense to me. Why are you driving if you're shook up? So yeah, and then there was this.
Okay, I want to help you. Are you stopped with your bus secured? Yes, the passenger to be followed supported right now too. Okay, your bus is secured. Now try to take a deep breath. I need to understand what's going on. Take a deep breath and talk real slow. I do not understand what's going on. Let's try one more time. I was driving forward and he was also walking north and he had walked in between a couple of cars and so I had to stop the brake immediately and he walked in front of the bus. He pulled down the bike rack and then I put the hazards on and the brake and he had come to the driver's side window and he punched it really hard and I thought I was going to break and it just scared me. Okay, I get it. Is he still there or did he leave? I don't see him. All right, let's go ahead and get a description of this guy. Do you remember what he looks like?
All right, that's enough. Now that's shook up. The other guy had, he says he's shook up. Oh, I had to take a few minutes because I was shook. He's not believable. Now her, on the other hand, she was shook up, and there's a hell of a difference, isn't there? Over and out.